It's February, and this is the Library Roadshow. On the show today, let's stay in the executive suite with a visit from President Abraham Lincoln and a welcome for our new executive director. Welcome to the February edition of the Library Roadshow. I'm Mary Stein, and this is a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. I'm happy to announce that 2023 was a great year for library use and engagement. The key word is up. Circulation was up 8% with 2.7 million checkouts. Visitor gate count was up more than 9%. With 1.7 million pairs of feet coming through our library doors. Library bookmobiles made more than 2,300 visits to local preschools, community centers, and retirement centers. You logged into library computers and Wi-Fi, and you accessed databases. So many databases. The complete report will be posted online by February 10th. But it's not just about the nice high numbers. It's really about personal impact. This month, our new series, Libraries Change Lives, puts the spotlight on school librarian Michelle Champagne. We met Michelle through our home library pilot project and can attest to how she is changing lives for the better for her young students. I'm happy to announce that the spring 2024 One Book, One Community series will be simply delicious since we're featuring Max Miller's book, Tasting History. We'll kick things off on Friday, March 8th with free food, activities, and music by RJ and Zydeco Smooth. Staying with that culinary theme, we'll host the Edible Book Fest that same evening. So I'm inviting you now to bring your own edible book to the kickoff, where you will be judged and possibly found guilty of making some very bad puns. I've already got several ideas cooking right up here. See if you can beat me. We invite you to join members of the Louisiana Capital City Obedience Club and their canine friends at the main library on Sunday, February 18th to meet the breeds. This month's Special Collections Lecture Series features Judge Freddie Pitcher Jr., who is the first African American to be elected to judgeships at 3 different levels of the court system. Dr. Charles Vincent will introduce the documentary Frederick Douglass, When the Lion Wrote History at the Baker Branch, and we'll be celebrating along with the African American Read-In at Greenwell Springs and Carver branches. Plenty of other impactful programs on the schedule this month. You can take care of Uncle Sam during Super Tax Day, spend some quality time at Right Time with Boo Milton, and organize your time with Alyssa Trosclair. Garden Discoveries will explore herbs used in folklore, and the Master Gardeners will help you grow tomatoes, address invasive species, attract bees, and cultivate your roses. Saturday Science is back with astronaut and flight surgeon Dr. Serena Onyan Chancellor. The Grown Up Gaming League is taking over the Bluebonnet Regional Branch, and the Kids Orchestra is visiting 4 different locations. Find out more in The Source, in print and online at ebrpl.com.
Free access to books, audio, and library resources are just a few of the benefits available to you when you get a library card. Need free access to a computer? You get that. Want free access to premium digital resources like Mango Languages and lynda.com? You get that. Need to book a meeting space? You get that. Heck, you can even check out a telescope or use a digital printer with your library card. If you live in East Baton Rouge Parish, pick up your free library card from your local branch library today. Premium access to everything the library system has to offer is waiting for you.
Over the past few years, even our younger students have become familiar with digital resources, whether they're using them in the classroom or logging into class from home. So we knew we had to meet these early elementary students on that level too. Enter the Scholastic Go platform. It's time to find out more in the digital download.
Scholastic Go is an educational resource for second grade kids and up. It provides credible, accurate, reliable content on almost every core curricular subject. It offers near endless resources for research in a multitude of media. Explore non-fiction text, world newspapers, maps, videos, and more. This easy-to-navigate digital resource is designed to strengthen content knowledge, vocabulary, and core proficiency skills. The powerful search box means students can spend less time searching to find what they are looking for and more time learning. It's interactive, vibrant, and makes learning fun. All content is age-appropriate and can be filtered by reading level. For parents and teachers, it includes lesson plans and educator resources. Scholastic Go looks great on any device, and the high-quality content is added to and updated continuously. You'll find Scholastic Go and more educational resources for children in the digital library at ebrpl.com.
I really like this engaging new platform, and I think that kids will too. Scholastic has long been a staple in the library world, and they made the transition to the online world very easy. We partner with Scholastic in other ways too. They help provide the content we use in our Press Start Ready Set Read series. This is the series we created for kids ages 2 to 4. Let's shift gears now and go beyond the stacks.
We're here at the main branch of the East Baton Rouge Public Library, and this is Money Moves, which is a get-together to talk about financial literacy. You know, Louisiana ranks at or near the bottom in financial literacy, and we really thought it was important to get information out to people so that they could make better financial decisions. And so we have a number of panels and discussions about things that are important for people to understand. Basic kind of information. That's what's really important. And we're hoping that this helps people to make better decisions as they move forward.
Well, good morning. My name is Ricardo Thomas. I am president of Thomas Waddell & Associates. We are a financial consulting and asset management firm. And today I will be speaking on the importance of identifying the right financial professionals in working towards your financial success.
WRKF we are the NPR radio station here in Baton Rouge, and community outreach and also education is incredibly important to us, and giving people information that they can act on and make better decisions in their lives is all about what we're trying to do. And so this really is something that, is incredibly important to take control of your future financially and understand what's going on, especially in this state where it's so incredibly important. We just thought this was a great idea. This is a free event. It's open to the public. Nobody's selling anything. This is just information for people to act on. Questions. There's Q&A sections at each of the sessions, and hopefully they'll come away from this with a better understanding and information that they can act on and as we said, make better decisions for their future. Yeah, the East Baton Rouge Public Library, first of all, has been an incredible partner with this. And they're a community resource, just like WRKF is a community resource. And so we feel this is a great partnership and a great place to have it. This is a gathering place for the community. And that's what this Money Moves conference is all about, is a community event. And we couldn't think of a better place to have it than here at the library.
We're so appreciative of WRKF and the community partners who made this event possible. We were proud to be a part of it. And you can bet that library staffers were on hand to show off the Weiss Financial Literacy Platform, as well as all the powerful tools we have for small business owners and budding entrepreneurs. Stay right there. After the break, our new library director, Katrina Stokes, joins me for a chat, right here on the Library Roadshow.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that preparing children to enter kindergarten is good for us all. That's why we created Press Start, an early learning initiative that provides a free activity booklet every month that explores early literacy skills through play and interaction at home. Get a library card. Sign up for Press Start at ebrpl.com/kids.
You're watching the February edition of the Library Roadshow. Everything you need to know about your local library system. Now, the library is a complex, multi-layered institution. And as a city parish governmental service agency, we follow all the city parish regulations and procedures and must obtain approvals from the mayor's office as well as the Metropolitan Council. But we also have our own board of trustees and follow state legislation specifically written for libraries. We have a pretty stable workforce and lots of procedures and handbooks, and our staff offers a large pool of experience from which to draw. But we do need someone to serve as our commander-in-chief. And after a national search, I am proud to say that we now have that special someone. I'm delighted to welcome Katrina Stokes to Baton Rouge in general and to the East Baton Rouge Parish Library in particular. Welcome, Katrina.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your background.
Oh, wow. Well, I usually go with the short answer on that one. I'm a military child. I grew up a military child. My family is originally from Mississippi. Spent my young years moving around from place to place and eventually settled back in Mississippi where I went to college, undergrad at Mississippi State University.
That's okay, it's fine.
Hey, it's not Ole Miss.
Yeah, we'll allow.
Okay, good, I'm glad. Eventually did meet the man I married, and we went on to have 2 children. I am no longer married, unfortunately, but I now have 2 boys, 2 teenage boys, whom I love very dearly, and I'm here.
And you came to us from Vicksburg?
Yes.
Okay. So what drew you to answer the call and to come and consider East Baton Rouge Parish Library for the next phase in your career?
No, that's a good question. I admit I do kind of like a challenge, and this sounds like a very challenging job. I mean, not to say that running the library in Vicksburg was easy. It wasn't. I found plenty to do, and the biggest thing was moving forward with some of the technology. There was more of a call for things like the ebooks and many of the digital content, which at the time the library had some, but not a lot. So I worked on building on that and building on the programs and services to offer to the community. And I'm happy to say that that was headed in the right direction. So I felt the library was off to a very good start, and I've left it in very capable hands. The staff were fantastic. I could not have asked for a better group of people to work with. I threw a lot of unconventional things at them, and they stepped right up to it.
Excellent.
And helped me accomplish many of the things that I wanted to do. So now I'm here, and I think what I like about Baton Rouge, I like college towns. It's difficult not to like a college town. I lived in Knoxville many years ago, and Baton Rouge and Knoxville remind me a little bit of each other. I have the same vibe, the feeling.
Right, we're big, small towns.
Exactly.
So, now the library itself has a fresh mission and an updated strategic plan. These are things we've worked on the last couple of years with a lot of community input. Do you see yourself making any sweeping changes right off the bat?
I'm a big believer in if it ain't broke, don't fix it. No, my first goal really is to learn more about the strategic plan. I read it online. I said yes. I agree with all the points. That's definitely the direction that I would want to take if I were the one who had walked in and helped write that plan. I want to get to know that plan to make sure that I understand what the goals are, exactly what we're reaching for. And from then, the question is, all right, what does this library need from me in order to help accomplish each one of these goals? In addition to getting to know all of the people that I'll be working with.
There's a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting to know everyone, and I hope to do so. And it's going to take a while.
Oh, absolutely.
But, that's what I plan on spending the first year doing.
Excellent.
Especially.
Well, and that's the thing. You're not alone here.
Right.
So you've just moved to the capital city right here. And I know that my first thought whenever I meet a new arrival is to say, where have you eaten? But also, what have you already discovered as a newcomer to the area? Because there's a lot to see here.
Oh, yeah.
And you've hardly unpacked your bag, so I'm putting you on the spot here.
One of the things that I did, particularly when I was growing up as an Army kid, you had to get to know your surroundings very, very quickly because you never knew, you might get lost. And of course, I grew up in an era without cell phones, without GPS. So just like other places I've lived, I've spent quite a bit of time when I'm not unpacking, just riding around Baton Rouge to see what's here. And yes, I've discovered quite a few nice restaurants. Wow, that food is so good.
It is good. You do not have to travel to eat here.
I have to say, I was very excited to find out that Rouse's has king cake by the slice.
Oh.
Because I didn't want to buy a whole one. I was like, I can't eat that whole thing.
Yes.
But I found out they have king cake by the slice, and I've been enjoying sampling some of the different ones.
Oh, there's flavors for everyone.
Oh, they're so good.
Savory, sweet, a little bit of both. We can do it all. All right. Well, thank you so much, Katrina. We'll be hearing a lot more from you over the next many months, and we're excited to welcome you to Baton Rouge.
Thank you, Mary.
After the break, author Teresa McKenzie. Plus, we'll be checking in with Victoria Edwards. All that and more coming up next on the Library Roadshow.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that supporting the education of students is good for us all. That's why we provide access to live, in-person, online tutoring through Homework Louisiana, make available free test preparation tools through Learning Express, plus reference tools for all ages. Get a library card. Get free education at ebrpl.com/homeworkhelp.
Welcome back to the February edition of the Library Roadshow. My next guest is a local entrepreneur, coach, and now published author. Teresa McKenzie has a background in mental health and child welfare, and she's poured that experience into her new book entitled Depression Among African Americans. Teresa joins me now by phone. All right, Teresa, how did you get your start as an author?
I had to complete a dissertation in the PhD program that I was enrolled in. My major was Christian counseling. I later decided to get my dissertation converted into a book so that it can help my target audience.
What is this book about?
My book is about depression in the African American community. The title is Depression Among African Americans, How the Church Can Help. My book sheds light on the stigmas of depression in the Christian community. I discuss how to identify depression and what tools, and I focus on the church at large. So I want the church to know how to identify depression, what all is involved in it, and what the church can do, as well as partnering with the mental health community to help those who are in the church that are struggling with depression, help them to overcome it through gaining education and insight.
And what inspired you to write this book?
There's not a lot of dialogue in the African American church community about depression, so I wanted to be able to provide them with information and research about depression for people to get the education about it and the help they need through the research that I had done to include in the book.
Teresa, what advice would you share with other aspiring authors?
The advice that I would give to an aspiring author is to simply choose a topic that you are passionate about and interested in. If you choose a topic that you're passionate about and interested in, it will make it so much easier for your words to flow, and it will possibly help prevent you from struggling with writer's block.
How can our viewers learn more about you and your work?
My book is available online at Amazon.com, Books A Million, and Barnes & Noble. It's also available on my website, The Healing Project Academy.square.site. Also, I can be found on Facebook under my business page, The Healing Project Academy, and you can go there and learn more about who I am, what I do, and also my book. My book can be purchased on my website. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks, Teresa. Remember that the library offers a wide variety of books, magazines, DVDs, as well as online wellness and mindfulness platforms to help you in your own journey to mental health. Edwin Edwards was one of Louisiana's most colorful and impactful governors. His daughter, Victoria, just published her first book, The Life and Times of a Governor's Daughter, which she shared with our patrons here at the Main Library on Goodwood last month.
Of course, tonight we have the wonderful Victoria Edwards, who is here to tell us about her personal journey in this life as the governor's daughter. So please give her a warm welcome.
So here we are tonight at the main library, Baton Rouge Library on Goodwood Boulevard, and I've been invited here to speak about my book, and that's what we'll be doing tonight, along with a question and answer session. Most of the people of Louisiana know that my father was governor of the state of Louisiana for 16 years, 4 separate terms, and I was his second daughter. But I was not a stay-at-home kind of daughter who hid from the public. I was really out there with him often and a lot. And the book is basically about my relationship with him and the things that we went through, like campaigning, ribbon cutting, living in the mansion, that sort of thing. And also the book is about a lot just about me, because my father and I had a difficult time at certain times because I am bipolar and my parents did not understand it, so that added to the book, which might be like could call the survival of Victoria Edwards.
So yeah, I wrote a book. Well, I did everything in that book myself. I put the pictures in, I transferred them, I did all the poetry, I did the typefaces, the spacing, color pictures. I did it all because I could.
I lived in libraries most of my education, which was a lot. I have 3 different degrees, mostly in English and English education, but I lived in libraries. I love literature. I like fiction movies, but I don't like to read fiction. I like to read Edgar Allan Poe and Nathaniel Hawthorne and, on Golden Pond, Thoreau and people like that. I mean, I just love literature, and that you can find in a library.
This event was part of the library's Special Collections Lecture Series. You can join them at 6 p.m. every 3rd Wednesday of every month at the Main Library on Goodwood. And of course, copies of this new biography are available. Just check the catalog at ebrpl.com. Stay right there. You're watching the Library Roadshow.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that making things is good for us all. That's why we have makerspaces at 4 locations and a 3D printing service at the main library. The makerspaces have a variety of tools and equipment to enable both creative and practical projects. This includes 3D printers, sewing machines, audio-visual gear, and much more. Get a library card. Get free access to makerspaces at ebrpl.com/makerspaces.
You're watching the February edition of the Library Roadshow, a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. We do lots of fun things to excite patrons about literacy, and one of my favorite ways to do that is to bring inspiring characters from history to life. That's exactly what we did for the patrons at the Greenwell Springs Library when Abe Lincoln stopped by.
Hello there, Abraham Lincoln, 16th President of the United States, and we are here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at the Greenwell Springs Regional Library. Today at 11 o'clock, I'm doing a program I call A Visit with Mr. Lincoln, which is essentially just a review of our nation's history during my time, my own personal story, and directed especially at children and at families. I usually begin by going back 77 years, which takes us back to 1776. And I talk about the Declaration of Independence, the founding of our nation, slavery, and then the development of our nation during the remainder of that century, the 19th century. And then I mix in my personal story. So the growing up on the frontier, not being able to go to school, but loving to read and so on. And then, of course, it all culminates in the momentous events of the 1850s, leading up to 1860, the election, the Civil War, all that. Hello there. How we doing today?
I'm okay.
I don't understand. What is this thing here? Must be a new kind of telegraph machine. Looks like they made some improvements to the telegraph machine. Personal stories. So, for example, in talking about how I couldn't go to school much, I only went to 5 different schools for about 2 months each, which is only about 10 months. But I love to read, and didn't have many books, of course, back then on the frontier. But the few books we did have, I'd read, and then I'd go to neighbors' houses if I could borrow books. I'd walk miles to borrow a book. And I say, even when I was many years later, when I was president, I'd go to the Library of Congress and check out books. Books about military strategy, books about the American West, things I need to know about as president. Never told to learn now, are you? Hello there.
Good morning.
How we doing today?
Great.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be alive.
A pleasure to meet you.
It's the alternative.
Yes,
Bet
it
there's
does.
none of that. Yeah. You come here to see me?
We did.
All right,
did.
very good. We're going to be in the back room there.
Okay. Thank you. We'll
Thank
see
you.
Friends
again.
too?
Well, we didn't bring anybody.
Still time to call them up. People respond very favorably in general, all ages. So children are fascinated by Abraham Lincoln. Adults are, senior adults. I do lots of programs at senior homes. So people are just very interested in Lincoln as a person, not only because of his role as president during a very important time in our nation's history, the greatest crisis in our nation's history, but also because of his character, his compassion, his honesty, his empathy, and just the idea that he came from the common people, from the frontier, with so little, such a humble background, and rose to the highest place in our land.
Honest Abe is always a favorite Chautauqua performer at the library. We love bringing the president to town. This year, Mr. Lincoln was our guest performer at Greenville Springs, Zachary, and at the Scotlandville branch. Keep your eye on the events calendar at ebrpl.com for the next time Abraham Lincoln comes to the East Baton Rouge Parish Library. And now for today's contest. Visit the library's Facebook page at facebook.com/ebrpl. The library is filled with information in print, on video, and online about politics and politicians. Have you ever had a conversation with a governor or a president? Or are you a political history junkie? What's your favorite political anecdote? Tell us all about it. That's facebook.com/ebrpl, and while you're there, enjoy. We're not your grandfather's library anymore. What's coming up on the Library Roadshow in March? We'll be tasting history as we kick off the spring One Book, One Community series. Thanks so much for joining us on the Library Roadshow, and remember, your East Baton Rouge Parish Library is open 7 days a week at each and every one of 14 branches, plus 24/7 on the web. Check us out at ebrpl.com.